Welcome, welcome, welcome. Episode number 17 of the PISCOPOD. What are we today? Sunday, December the 26th. And, did I say September? I meant October. October the 26th. And we're just flying through. We're a couple of days out from Halloween. Everybody's getting their costumes all done up and getting their plans all buttoned down. Don't drink and drive if you're going out partying. There's plenty of ghost goblins and slutty nurses that want to get home to their families at the end of the festivities. So, be smart. Don't drink and drive. It was a beautiful day. Hope everybody's week went swimmingly and was shits and giggles. This time of year is usually a little somber around my place. Today marks the 4th anniversary of my father-in-law John's passing, and it's always a little somber and melancholy around the house. John was a good guy, funny guy, always the life of the party, loved to party, have a good time, strong man. And for those that are close to me know that my wife's father, he was diagnosed early on in our marriage with lymphatic cancer, and he went through horrendous chemotherapy treatment and beat it, beat it. He was like 15 or 16 years cancer free, so hats off to that. Unfortunately, he ended up catching ALS, or commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, which is a horrendous disease. And I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole and get into the details of that. In case my wife watches this podcast, I don't want to make her more upset than, she already is, losing her dad in such a way. Was awful to witness, to say the least. Here in Canada, for my American friends, we have the very controversial, as of late, M.A.I.D program, M.A.I.D, M.A.I.D program. And that's an acronym for the Medical Assistance in Dying, where if you have a terminal disease and there's no outcome, that there's no favorable outcome. Here in Canada, we have this M.A.I.D program where it's very stringent. It's been in the papers a lot and in the news and on legacy media lots about, in Canada, they're just letting people commit suicide and they're offering it out. And I haven't done enough research into that to see if actually that's the case. I don't think that I believe that that's the case. They're not just offering this like a buy one get one kind of deal. But let me tell you a little about my experience with the M.A.I.D program, or how it has affected my family. Lots of controversial stuff about this going on, and regardless of what side of the fence you're on, let me give you a little bit of my insight on what it was. I personally think that modern medicine, let's be honest with one another, does anybody really think that they're going to ever cure cancer? Because I certainly don't. There's no money in curing anything. There's money in treating things, but there's certainly no money in, now you're cancer-free and we'll see you around, you know. That is not how our system is set up, especially when we're dealing with big pharmaceutical companies. Now, in future episodes, I'll go into the vaccinations and, the vaccination schedule for children. And I'm certainly not an anti-vaxxer. I believe I said that in my last episode. My wife and I, we both got the Pfizer vaccine, the first one and the booster. When they started rolling out the third and the fourth and the fifth and the 10th booster shots, both my wife and I, we opted out. I have for a long, long time have opted out of the flu shot regiment. Not because not because I'm thinking, ooh, there's something that they're injecting into me that could be harmful, although in hindsight now, that's what I'd be thinking, given the evidence and things that we've uncovered since the rollout of the COVID pandemic. But I've opted out of the flu regiment just due to the fact that any time that I got the the flu vaccine for the strain that's coming around this year, I usually got way sicker than when I didn't get vaccinated. Now, they say that it can make you sick, but it gives your body the ability to build the antibodies. A lot of it doesn't make sense to me. So basically they're saying you get the shot, you might get sick, but because you get sick, it's not as severe as if you were to actually get sick, and it gives your body the chance to build up the antibodies that in case the whatever strain of flu hits you, it won't be as severe as if you didn't have the shot. But, that's a lot of word salad with no real proof, really. How do you know that if I don't get vaccinated that I'll catch this flu, or if I do catch this flu that it's going to be a lot worse than if I didn't have the vaccination? Now, I'm sure that they can spout off all sorts of statistical things to bolster their argument as to why people should get vaccinated. And as I said, I'm not an anti-vaxxer per se. I think that people that have health issues, elderly, stuff like that, maybe people that are in high-risk environments, doctors, nurses, that are working with, sick people, disease-ridden people, for lack of a better word. Do I think it should be mandatory? Absolutely not. I don't think that anybody other than yourself should be able to force you to put anything into your body that you don't want to put into your body. Hey, man, and, I grew up in the 80s. So for my 80s brethren, you guys know what it was like in the 80s. My body has had enough pollutants in it where, COVID, somewhere out there, COVID is getting vaccinated for a sash 19. You know what I mean? So, I'm not anti-vax per se. I certainly don't think that anybody should be forced to take a shot if they don't want to take the shot. And I certainly have my reservations about the fact of perfectly healthy people being forced to take the shot. I mean, all my life I've always been taught, if you eat healthy and get lots of sleep and stuff like that, and I'm a firm believer of this, is your body is able to fight all sorts of things naturally, right? Without pharmaceutical drugs or stimulants or whatever the case, or mercury and all sorts of other shit that they inject into you. So So I'm kind of going off on the tangent. I started off with the M.A.I.D, and I'm talking about vax. That's how my mind is going right now. It's kind of all over the place today. But anyway, we're in that season. They're starting to roll out. Oh, go get your flu shots. You can go into any drugstore here and get a free flu shot and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. If you're elderly, you have health conditions, by all means, get your shot if that's what your doctor recommends. Or just play it by ear. I mean, if you don't want to get the shot, by all means, then don't get the shot. Do you know what I mean? So they're rolling out, the flu season is upon us, and urging people to get vaccinated. There's all sorts of medical. The Alberta healthcare is in the news all the time. Universal healthcare is in the news all the time. The fact that illegal immigrants are getting free healthcare down in the United States, here in Canada as well, and where American citizens have to pay for their health care for most part. So, the pharmaceutical companies and the medical institutions, they're always on the news. Back to the M.A.I.D program, that's been something that's been on the news up here. I know that it's been propagandized down south of the border. I had friends that called me up and they're like, do they really have that program in Canada? Yes, we do have a medical assistance in dying. My understanding, though, has always been that it's for terminally ill people. My father-in-law went through a stringent screening process in order for him to be accepted into this program. And I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but my personal opinion is if you are knowingly dying of some whatever it is, terminal illness, lung cancer, cancers of any sort for that matter, brain cancer, Lou Gehrig's disease, you name it. I think that as an autonomous human being on the earth, that you should have the ability to go, you know what? I don't want to contribute to the palliative care cabal that's in every country throughout the world. Like I said, they're not curing anything. When was the last time that the medical community has actually really cured something? They know how to treat everything. You got diabetes, here's what you do. You got cancer, you go through chemo. Oh, and then you try this. You can't get pregnant, you do, whatever, hormone therapy or whatever the case is. But they don't really ever find cures. They always have the ability to monetize a treatment for you. So when my father-in-law was diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, for those of you that don't know, it's basically your mind stays as relevant and sharp as you and I speaking, or me speaking on camera right now to you. But the body shuts down. Slowly but surely, one little thing at a time. You notice the speech gets a little slurred. You notice that their gait when they're walking is a little off. A week later, they can barely talk at all. A couple weeks after that, they can't eat anymore because the muscles in their throat don't actually push the food down. So everything has to be more or less a liquefied drink in order to sustain the person. And it just gets progressively worse. I know that I got a couple people listening on here who have had people in their lives that have succumbed to Lou Gehrig's disease, and it's a terrible way to go. And I, for one, am glad that my father-in-law had the option of the M.A.I.D program that we offer here in Canada. And like I said, it was a stringent process that he went through. when he was finally accepted into that program, we shared a last whiskey together. It happened in his home, surrounded by his wife and his family and loved ones. You couldn't ask for, other than going in your sleep, I suppose, you couldn't really ask for a better way to go, especially to be relieved of such a horrendous disease as that. When he finally was approved for the program and he was ready to make that decision, and God bless him, that's got to be, that's got to weigh heavy on the mind, when you go, okay, on such and such a date, that's when I'm checking out. Got to be it's got to be tough, but he stood strong and was very forthcoming in his conviction. As soon as he was diagnosed with the disease, he already had it in his mind that that's when the time came that the M.A.I.D program would be the way that he chooses to leave, his mortal coil, if you will. It's hard to even describe, and it's even harder to articulate what I witnessed that day. But it was peaceful. We shared a drink, we shared a laugh. He couldn't speak anymore. He wrote on a electronic tablet. And when he was ready to go, he just hugged everybody. We said our goodbyes. And there was a doctor and a nurse, very compassionate, that came to the house. And they administered 2 syringes of medication, one that put him in a deep sleep and the other one that stopped his heart. And that was the end of it. He passed on, surrounded by his family and friends, his loved ones, in his own bed, in his own home. And God bless you, John. We miss you. Tanya misses you. My wife went to church today where she was baptized. She went to the church today and said a prayer for her father. And I stayed behind at home with the dogs, took them out to the park. Kind of kept things a little normal around here for them. Because at this time of year, my wife does, take this pretty hard. She was a daddy's girl, and you can only imagine. So, so 18 minutes in, we're still, I haven't even started the show. I'm talking about this, but I'm glad that you're listening. And, if you could see your way fit, maybe say a prayer for John Rorick, and maybe say a prayer for Tanya too, and keep them in your thoughts, because today is a tough day for the family. Anyway, having said that, thanks for tuning in. And if you're new to the channel, go down below and hit the subscribe button, and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it. Thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate your support. Lots of things going on again in the world. It never ceases to amaze. We got the old, the big, beautiful ballroom. We got that brouhaha south of the border going on. And what is it you say? Well, it's the people that spent the past 4 years under the Biden administration, canceling the Uncle Ben's, canceling the Aunt Jemima, trying to cancel Cracker Barrel, pulling down statues, renaming buildings. They're all up in arms about heritage and leaving things as they are all of a sudden. I guess I guess all the energy they wasted on tearing statues down and stuff like that the past 4 years, they're kind of over that now, and they're up Donald J. Trump's ass because he is building a big, beautiful ballroom. I mean, did anybody really think any different? He's a fucking real estate developer. You didn't think that he was going to leave his mark on the White House, even if in my opinion, I do kind of think that he did this just to fucking stick his finger in the lefty's eye, if you will, because they are, in true fashion, fucking losing their shit. $200 million for this ballroom. They're freaking out because they really can't say anything about it because he funded it himself. He paid for it through donor donations, some of his money, I think. But apparently it's not costing the taxpayers a dime. Now, do I believe that it isn't going to cost them a dime? That remains to be seen. But everything so far indicates that this is all funded through him and his donors, and the Democrats are fucking losing their shit over it because they can't really say anything. They can't really say, they can't really rally up the troops and go, look at what he's wasting your tax dollars on, right? Well, that isn't happening. It's his own money. So they're losing their minds over it. To be fair to both sides, he did say that he was not going to do anything with the East Wing, that he was going to add on to it, and he ended up demolishing it all. So they're losing their shit over that now, too. So in fairness, he did say that he wasn't going to, demolish the East Wing, and he ended up doing it. So, he's getting even more flack for that as well because, this far into his presidency, I mean, his economy seems to, at the very least, he's got the respect of the world again. America has the respect of the world. What he's doing to the economy is touch and go. I hear both sides. I have I have friends that live in the States, some of which are going, they're like, thank God that that he's the leader right now and not Kamala Harris. There's other ones that are like, thank God Kamala Harris isn't the leader, but at the same time, grocery prices are still fucking insane, and cost of living is this, and this costs this much. And I feel for you guys, man, because here in Canada, man, we are getting bent over and dry fucked, let me tell you, by Communist Carney. I mean, you just have to shake your head at everything that's going on all across the world. It doesn't matter where you look. It's like you're just like WTF everywhere you set your peepers. New York City. I mean, it hasn't been that long, has it, since 9/11? And I've been kind of following this mayoral race that's going on down there. And the guy that has a commanding lead and looks to be like the next mayor of New York City, this M.A.I.D guy. I mean, what's going on, New York? Like, has 9/11 been that far in your rearview mirror that you forgot who did that to you? That you're going to elect them now into power? I mean, call me an Islamophobe if you wish, but even the people that are, generally more democratic leaning in their political opinions and voting, people like Bill Maher, even they're like throwing out the red flag, going like, holy fuck, New York, what are you guys doing, man? I mean, this M.A.I.D guy, he's not only talked about there's an Iman that lives in New York who wasn't part of the original World Trade Center bombing, the first one where they blew up the underground parkade. He wasn't actually a part of that, but he certainly was friends with those that enacted that, and he certainly celebrated it. And this Mamdani guy, he has no qualms about posting pictures of him arm in arm talking about how great of a man this guy is. I've watched some of Mamdani's speeches on, like these pundits. They're doing the rounds with the Good Morning America and whatever, the legacy media shows and stuff like that. That they're doing the rounds, as they say, and some of the shit that this guy says like makes my hair on my neck stand up, man. One of the interviewers asked him, do you think that that taxing billionaires more is going to be beneficial for the state of New York? And basically, not basically, he said, I don't think there should be any billionaires. So, of course, with a front runner that has those kind of views, word has it that New York has been experiencing a deluge of people fucking packing up and heading out, man. Understandably so. Understandably so. But I cannot believe that, and I know a couple of people that live in New York and New York State, and I mean, their choices aren't great. You got the radical Muslim who's like leading by like he's got, they say that he has like 94% approval. That is fucking, you know what, man? It's crazy. It is crazy. But then what are the choices? You got Andrew Cuomo, who himself has, a checkered past. He's got some women that claim that he did this and that. And again, if true, it's reprehensible. But those are kind of your choices. The other people that are running in the race, I don't even know if there's any other people running in the race. That's how non-important that they are. That Cuomo and this Mamdani guy, they're the only two guys on the news that they're covering, right? So it's kind of like, do you want the titty groper and, the Italian blah, 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 or do you want the radical Muslim? And I'm blown away that they're going for the radical Muslim. I don't see this ending well if this guy wins. And I cannot believe that in the beautiful state or New York City, because he's running for the mayor of New York City, if you will. But I just can't believe that in, the shining jewel of America, New York City, that, not a very long time after 9/11, that they would elect, by any metric, he's a radical Muslim. He's a radical Muslim. And he's promising fairness and equality, which is how all the wolves pretend. We have the same wolf up here in Canada, except he's not a radical Muslim. He's a radical globalist. Montgomery Burns Carney, that old bed shitter, with his Bill C-9. So basically, Bill C-2, I think, got struck down, which is a good thing. But they're trying to pass bill after bill after bill in order to censor us up here. Bill C-9, it would basically be a bill that would create a new hate crime offense that would apply to the commission of any offense under the criminal code or any other act of parliament that is motivated by hatred based on race, national or ethnic origin, language, color, religion, sex, age, mental or physical disability, sexual orientation, or gender. So that's a pretty broad fucking paintbrush to paint shit off of, right? So basically, whatever they say, oh, you can't, you know, you don't think that trannies should be sharing story time in elementary school? Well, that's a hate crime, okay? And we can throw you in jail, or we can whatever, fine you, throw you in jail, whatever it is that they're trying to do. It's ridiculous. And again, I am flummoxed by the amount of people that are like, yeah, I would rather have him than Pierre Poilievre or Daniel Smith or whatever. They're just Trump 2.0s. So, I guess being a Trump 2.0, if you have, if you care about your country first, and and you put your citizens in front of all else, that's a bad thing. Now, again, having said that, when we look at our southern neighbor, does Donald J. Trump have American citizens' interests in the forefront? That's questionable, given the information that's been leaking out about the state of Israel and their power that they wield in American politics. If you've seen the meeting between Netanyahu and Donald Trump, the media always talks about, like when Donald is shaking hands and he pulls the guy in, it's a power move and stuff like that. They always talk about that. But one of the things that I noticed in the Netanyahu Donald J. Trump meeting is when Trump pushed his chair in, like Netanyahu was a female dinner date, pushed his chair in. That to me was just weak. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that I was seeing that. The leader of the free world, the most powerful world in the nation, is like, here you go. Pushing in Netanyahu's chair like he's some Manchurian candidate. But, there's a lot of blowback happening because, the president was all anti-war and, he's brokered the Middle East peace deal, but that hasn't gone off without a hitch. Hamas was shooting people in the street, executing them. The IDF soldiers were doing bombing campaigns and killed some civilians. Basically business as usual. And honestly, did anybody really not believe? Remember Jared Kushner in Trump's first presidency, 2016, when Jared Kushner, Jewish, basically said that that Gaza was going to be like a beach resort kind of town in the Middle East, and everybody thought, that's just him hyperbole and swinging his dick, and that's exactly what they're doing. There's only a couple million Palestinians in there, and the Jewish state of Israel. They keep saying that, Israel is their promised land from God Himself. I was going down that rabbit hole, and I've seen a guy pull out some older Bibles. And the older Bibles, they predated, I think it was 1899 or something like that. But these older Bibles, they had maps of the Middle East, kind of like a diorama, if you will. But they had maps of the Middle East, and you know what the map of the state of Israel back before the 1900s? You know what the map said that land was? Palestine. That's what it said. It never said Israel. It said Palestine. As a matter of fact, Israel didn't even become a thing until 1948. And Trump is getting, for all the good things that he's doing, he's sure getting a lot of blowback with this AIPAC lobby that's in the States and this plethora of senators on both sides that are basically being controlled by the Jewish lobby, Jewish donors. That Miriam Adelson didn't give Donald J. Trump $100 million to win this election so that he could turn his back on the state of Israel. This is how these politicians work, man. This is just a negotiation. While us idiots, are given, what did George Carlin call it? The illusion of choice. They're just like doing underhanded deals here and there. It's like, oh, yeah, no, we're going to broker a peace deal, but if you need missiles, here you go. Same with Ukraine, right? And all these companies like BlackRock and all these NGOs and stuff like that, they're going to come in and they're going to rebuild these areas that, their compadres have made hundreds of millions of dollars in armaments, bombing them and leveling this place. This place has been Gaza. This place has been fucking leveled. And whether you agree with one side or the other, you can actually be critical of both sides and not actually take a side. You can say, yeah, Israel does have a right to defend itself from the October 7th thing. Have they gone too far? That again is, I don't want to say that's a personal thing. Consensus is that they've gone too far. They've been bombing the shit out of these people for 2 years. There's only supposed to be, I think, 1,000 Hamas operatives, soldiers, whatever the fuck, terrorists that are in Gaza compared to, I think it was 2 million people that live in Gaza. So not a very formidable force, if you will. But in their bombing campaign, and it's hard not to think of them as what a lot of those in the pro-Palestinian camp are saying is a genocide, because you can't just kill tens of thousands of children, starve them to death, play target practice when you finally let food trucks come in, and you're shooting at them while they're scrambling to feed themselves. Like, come on, Like, if me calling that shit out makes me an anti-Semite, well, fuck you. You know what I mean? Because that's bullshit. That's some fucking bullshit. And in this day and age, with the state of Israel and as advanced as they are with their intel and their, covert operations with the exploding cell phones and pagers and shit, it's hard not to see it for what it is, which is genocide, right? And, and what happened? Like Hamas, they kind of shit the bed right after the ceasefire. And the first thing that Israel does, the state of Israel, is they're like, okay, well, we're going to be cutting aid trucks in half now. Because, because Hamas isn't laying their weapons down and they broke the ceasefire. So, and again, in the fog of war, you kind of let certain things slide, but you cannot discount the fact that they call Israel, the most moral fighting force on the planet in this war, right? And it, that's a tough pill to swallow when a handful of Hamas terrorists break the ceasefire deal, and the state of Israel, with all its technology and all its capabilities, if you will, their only resort is, what we're going to do is we're just going to fucking starve the people some more. Right? What are those people? What are the hungry children? What are the hungry women? What do they have anything to do with these bloodthirsty killers? You know? I still don't believe for 1 second that the Mossad had no intel that this October 7th thing was coming. I don't buy it for a second. I don't buy it for a second. We're getting sold down the road, folks. Epstein files, where are they? They just disappeared. Let's be honest with one another. You know, originally I thought, I don't think Trump is on the Epstein files, or at least not in the way that, you know, his detractors would wish that he, you know, that he's in there. But the longer that this goes on, the more I'm starting to think, let's be honest, you know, if Trump really wasn't implicated in those files, I would imagine he'd probably have a couple of fucking Twitter fucking comments about it, and he'd probably have t-shirts and hats that he'd be selling, you know, to decry about how he's not on the Epstein list. And the fact that he's quiet and nothing is being released, to say the least, is suspect. What else is suspect? Charlie Kirk. The biggest political assassination since JFK, and that has, like, literally, when's the last shit you've heard about Charlie Kirk? If it wasn't for people like me or Candace Owens, who's been unusually quiet for the past 2 weeks. My understanding is she's on vacation. I do hope she's okay. But, you know, there's a handful of people like me that are talking about this. But as far as the mainstream legacy media goes, there's nothing. There's nothing about this. They still want you to believe, yeah, that you know, that gay furry guy that was living with the furry, yeah, he did it with his grandpa's rifle. Put the thing together, took it apart, put it back together, dumped it in the woods. The magic bullet was miraculous because Charlie Kirk had a healthy neck bones and it stopped the 30-06. It's just a bunch of fucking bullshit that they're selling us. And, you know, they're not even selling it anymore. They just make it disappear off the headlines because we haven't had anything concrete as to ballistics or motive. Does anybody know who the lawyer is that's representing the shooter? Tyler Robinson. Does anybody know who his lawyer is? I don't. Remember when OJ? You know, remember when OJ did? What do you even say? You remember when OJ didn't kill his wife and her boyfriend? Right? Like within 30 minutes of the fucking incident, you had Johnny Cochran all over the fucking television screen talking about he's innocent and blah, blah, blah. And we will, you know, we long for our day in court to show my client's innocence and yada, da, 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 da. This other thing here with Charlie Kirk, nothing, man, crickets. You know, we're being sold down the river, folks. And I'm glad that not enough, but a healthy portion of my American friends are standing and fucking pushing back and waking up. Here in Alberta, we have our nucleus of Alberta freedom people, thank goodness. I think the East has been lost. We got that fat fuck Doug Ford running ads on American TV, anti-tariff ads. Trump being Trump. You know, hey, you know, I don't like these ads. They're playing dirty. We're going to fucking shove some more fucking tariffs on you. So because of this fat fucking crackhead, you know, we are enjoying another 10% tariffs on, I don't even know what he slapped the tariffs on at this point because I don't even care anymore. All I know is that every time I turn around, somebody's got somebody's got their hands in my fucking pockets. And, but here in Alberta, we're trying to push back. Do I think that we need to up the ante a bit? Certainly. I certainly don't call for violence. But we have enemies in our midst. We recently had in Alberta's capital, Edmonton, we had an Alberta Prosperity Rally. 10 to 15,000 people, not AI, not some fucking nerd with his computer, AI and shit, but we had 10 to 15,000 patriotic Albertans that came out to the legislature there and were peacefully demonstrating for Alberta separation. And I'm all for that at this point. I don't want to negotiate with the East anymore. I'm tired of sending my equalization payments to the tune of, I think it's like almost $6,000 per tax-paying citizen in Alberta, goes down east, and they use that money to fund elections that'll keep them in power and do absolutely nothing for the Western provinces. We have our neighbor to the west, British Columbia, run by NDPs. That's a fucking joke. Their crime rate in Vancouver is just through the roof. Their premier, Etsy, I don't even know what this fucking clown's name is, but they got their premier. He wants to abolish driver's tests, so people shouldn't have to take tests in order to drive a vehicle. He wants to just give out driver's licenses willy-nilly. And if you go 2 years without an accident or a ticket, then you get graduated to a full-on registered license. I believe that's kind of what I read into that. And I mean, what could go wrong there? We're only seeing the result of giving away licenses in the commercial truck driving area that's gone awry, with dozens of deaths in the past couple of months from drivers that have fake CDLs or are illegal immigrants. In one case, I think it was down in California, or was that in Canada? I don't even remember, but an Indian guy driving drunk and on drugs and illegal without a valid license plows into a cluster of cars and kills 7 people. Some of them so badly burned that it takes the forensic pathologist to identify their bodies and stuff like that. But hey, you know what they say. Diversity is our strength. We got here in Alberta, where I am, we got the teachers union on strike, or the Alberta teachers are on strike. And par for the course, they always, I don't have children, so I could give a fuck either way, to be honest with you. But I do find it a little disconcerting that they literally hold your children's education and the parents hostage. And they do this every couple of years, if not every year. And don't get me wrong here. There's a lot of things that they're fighting for or demanding that they have me in their corner. Class sizes. The class sizes are too big and it's stretching resources. I'm all for that. Teacher safety. I'm all for that too. Again, I don't have any kids, but some of your little fucking sandwich grabbers out there, of course not my listeners, because all of their kids are great, right? But anyway, kids out there, I mean, the internet is full of videos about kids losing their shit and spitting on teachers or hitting teachers and all sorts of shit like that. Maybe I'm aging myself here, but that kind of shit just never happened when I went to school. Because if I was ever caught hitting a teacher, believe me, the cops would be my refuge. If my teacher phoned my parents and said, "Hey man, your kid's been swatting on me," I would hope the cops come and grab me and haul me away before my mom and dad got to my ass. Do you know what I mean? But we don't live in that society anymore, right? Everybody gets a fucking participation trophy, and spanking your kid is corporal punishment. You know what, man? I've said this before. In my household, backhands were like one of the 5 food groups. And look at the grand citizen that I've become. You know what I mean? So corporal punishment works, kids. But yeah, so we got the teachers on strike. I'm all for a bunch of the things that they're attempting to garner. That was, though, until I seen the rally that they held, where they had 30 busloads of teachers heading to Edmonton to protest. And no sooner were they in Edmonton that they had their pictures taken and they cozied up with, of course, that fat sodomite M.A.I.D. Nenshi. Of course, he was out there cozying up to them. Also, the LBGTQ++++ alphabet people, they were cozying up to them, had their pictures taken, and lo and behold, there was also the pro-Palestinian camp that was there defending the teachers. And you know what, teachers? Say what you will, man. You had my support until you started cozying up with those groups, okay? I don't even have children, but if I had children and I seen what I seen over the weekend in Edmonton from the teachers union and the Alberta teachers that were on strike there, I'd fire every fucking one of you, man. Every one of you, man. Because when you're cozying up to M.A.I.D. Nenshi and the alphabet people, I don't think you should get more money in order to indoctrinate children. And it makes me wonder, folks, you guys out there with kids, man, you guys are seriously sending your children for 6 hours a day to be indoctrinated by these teachers that were like down in the States, the one teacher that was fired recently because she's like, bang, right in the neck, losers, bang, right in the neck. These are the people that are molding your children, indoctrinating them. So they had my support until I seen them cozying up with these fucking unsavory sad sacks. Now they don't have my support anymore, and if I had my way, I'd fire all of you. Matter of fact, this year when the census people came around, my entire life I've always voted for the public school system. You know, I don't know what it's like down in the States, but here in Canada, when the census people come by, they ask you, you have the choice. You can have your portion of tax dollars for education diverted to the public school system or the private school system, like the Catholic schools and stuff like that. And for those of you that have been following me for a while, you know when I say that all of my life I've always promoted the public school system because I didn't think that the Catholic school system or any religious-backed school system was the answer, in my opinion. But that's changed. You know, that has changed. For this year, for the first time, I've devoted all my portion of tax dollars. My wife has done the same thing to the private schools. I'm going to back any school that actively disengages this gender ideology nonsense. These men can be women and women can be men, and any of this other bullshit, this indoctrination of confusing your children about what gender they are and what bathroom to use and stuff like that. I'm not going to be a part of it anymore. And as a matter of fact, I'm becoming a very vocal opponent of this. Given that I have no children, people are like, why do you even care? Why do I even care is because somebody has to care about these children. I know that I got parents listening out here that feel exactly like I do, but God forbid they say anything because they'll get canceled. They can be, I mean, we've had situations here in Canada where people speak out and their banks are like, yeah, we're going to pull all your accounts and we don't want you as a client anymore. So this cancel culture. But I'm starting to see the turning point here. I'm starting to see people that are brave enough to go, you know what? I don't give a fuck what you guys do. This is wrong, and I'm going to stand up for it. Speaking of men being women and such, what else was on the news? Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau made it official in Paris. They were spotted on her birthday, coming out of a dinner date in Gay Paris. I mean, what do you even say to that? How fucking sad is that? I mean, they deserve each other. Two space cadets out and about, out on the town. You got Justin Trudeau, who's got to be the biggest laughing stock on the planet. Certainly in Canada, certainly in North America, Canada and the United States, but he wasn't a well-respected leader by any metric anywhere that he went. So he's in a bit of trouble. Pierre Poilievre made some controversial remarks about the RCMP, about how they covered up Justin Trudeau's the Lavalin scandal. And, of course, the propaganda media up here in Canada is just fucking hammering him all over the news. He should resign. He should apologize. And he's like, yeah, fuck you. How's that? How's that for an answer? I got something for you. Hang on. Right here. Okay? So, anyway, he's not apologizing. And lo and behold, records show that the RCMP did cover up for our Prime Minister when he was certainly conflicts of interest. But anyway, that's hindsight, I guess, and he's busy whining and dining Katy Perry on all the fucking money he fleeced from Canadian taxpayers. But I mean, par for the course for him. I mean, his mom, that old whore, she was like constantly stooping rock stars and celebrities throughout her life, while Justin's stepdad, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, and I call him a stepdad because everybody knows that fucking Justin Trudeau is Fidel Castro's offspring. Do a fucking DNA test, brother. Do a DNA test, man. But anyway, so she was like an old floppy whore too, right? Banging rock stars and stuff like that under Pierre Elliott's nose. So it's not surprising that her daughter Justin follows in her footsteps. And I mean, how about Katy Perry? Who handles her career? She's getting lambasted all over. First with her space outing now that she's an astronaut. Then her lackluster shows and her, incoherent and insane ramblings on stage. I mean, it's almost like a match made in heaven because there couldn't be two fucking sadder people that have found fucking love and are now out, proclaiming their love for one another. It's just sad to see. Immigration all over the world, man. People are starting. Ireland, I seen them fighting like cats and dogs, man. Good for them. Go Irish. I mean, we got invaders that are on our local news that are basically telling us, oh yeah, there's going to be Sharia law and this and that and the other thing. And people are like, oh, this will never, we got these old bed shitters here in Canada with their elbows up. It's like, yeah, that'll never happen. That'll never happen in Canada. And it's like, fuck, it's happening right before your eyes. Look at Vancouver. Look at Montreal. Look at the shit going on there. Every day I see in my news feed some brown guy with a name like Muhammad or whatever the fucking case is in Montreal, stabbing, shooting, robbery, break-in invasions every single day. Now, I'm an immigrant too. So I'm not anti-immigration, but when we flood Western countries, because that's the only place that these people have been flooding into is Western countries. Israel didn't take any. Middle East didn't take any Palestinian or Syrian or whatever. None of these places took these people, but they certainly opened the doors both in the United States, Canada, Germany. The shit that you see on the videos going on in Germany is just beyond the pale. But I'm glad that people are starting to stand up and go, you know what, man, this is bullshit and enough's enough. There's no-go zones in France. I was watching videos today in France, and it's mayhem down there. Cities are burning. Churches are being burnt down. Christians are being slaughtered by the hundreds of thousands in Nigeria. 18,000 churches, Christian churches and counting, have been burned down. But it's like, hey, man, you better not say anything because then you're an Islamophobe. These people are on our TV going, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to take you over. We're going to outbreed you, which is what they're doing because they have 10, 20 fucking kids. I was reading a thing that there's a guy, I think it was in Minnesota, and he literally has like an entire block. He practices Sharia law, so he's got like fucking 10 different fucking broads that are wearing like fucking patio umbrella covers around the fucking streets, but he has like he's got like a harem of these broads that he just goes around and impregnates, and they just pump out kids. And literally, he said, in a matter of a couple of years, he says, every person on this street is going to be one of my children. And they're telling you this. And there's, white soccer moms that are like, America, the melting pot, isn't it great? And I always talk about America, but I'm telling you, it's happening here in Canada too. It's happening here in Canada too. Look at all the new jobs we created that we're now filling with foreign workers. They're phasing us out, and if you don't see that, you're just blind. Like I said, no-go zones in France. There's 700 no-go zones in France where the only time that they enter that area is with an armored vehicle. Think about that. But if you say anything, then you're an Islamophobe. Makes no sense to me. Anyway, folks, that's what's going on in the world. Halloween is around the corner. Everybody's going to go out and party. The ghosts, goblins, slutty nurses. They're all getting their fishnets and makeup and fake blood ready for the festivities here at the end of the month. And I reiterate, please, guys, don't drink and drive, man. You know what I mean? In today's world with the Uber and the Lyft and the rideshare programs and even here in Calgary, for like New Year's and stuff like that, the trains run for free, the buses run for free. So, if you want to go out and be a party animal, no problem, but there's lots and lots of options for you so that you don't have to drink and drive. Other than that, folks, I don't know what else that I can tell you. Keep your eyes open. We are going through some crazy times. It'll be interesting to see how this thing south of the border with Donald Trump and the Jewish lobby plays out. Things are not looking promising for him. But it is what it is. Here in Alberta, I can't even remember the name of the group. They got their 300,000 signatures, whatever the fuck that means. The Canada First, I think, is what they're called. That they gathered 300,000 signatures, to proclaim how these 300,000 people, I guess, they want to remain a part of Canada. But come on, people, are you the beat up woman in the relationship that just can't leave because, for whatever reason, you got that Munchausen syndrome or whatever the hell they call it? Albertans are starting to stand up. And I think that I'm hoping it's not too late. it's high time that we do, and I think that we need to step up the game because we are surrounded. We are surrounded. I no longer call them adversaries. I call them my enemies now because, these liberal people with the woke agenda or the Canada First and, oh, yeah, the equalization payments. Oh, yeah, and let's bring in more immigrants and diversity is our strength. You know what, man? I've had it up to my fucking eyeballs with these people. Enough is enough. There's no reasoning with these people. They are hell-bent on destruction. They are hell-bent in changing our culture altogether. I mean, it already is. I mean, just where I live, I can see it with my own eyes. And any of you out there, if you're in Calgary, that says any different, you're just fucking lying to yourself, man. You're lying to yourself, or you live in a predominantly white neighborhood and it hasn't affected you yet, and you never leave, you never leave the confines of your house, because all you have to do is drive to any shopping mall and just have a look. Just have a look, man, and open your eyes. Anyway, folks, I'm going to get back out of the studio and spend some time with my wife and the doggies. We still have dry ground here where I am in the foothills of the Rockies. Out in the mountains in Canmore, we had snow, another blanketing of snow. So it's coming for us. Hopefully not this week, because I still got patio furniture and shit to pack up. But it's coming for us. Shoveling snow, boots, beanies. Toques is what we call them here in Canada. I call them beanies for my American friends that are listening. Anyway, folks, I hope you guys have a fab week ahead of you. It's getting increasingly more difficult to stay positive in everything that you're seeing and what you're getting bombarded with. But do your best. Find your group of people, man, and embrace them, because I said it on many podcasts, man. The war is at our doorstep, and we need to fucking circle the wagons, because if we just sit back and go, let's let them take care of it, or that'll never happen, we're going to be seeing shit coming down the pike, at least, for my fellow Canadians up here. I say Canada. I don't even give a fuck anymore. I'm talking about Albertans, man. My fellow Albertans. We got the fight. We got the fight at our doorstep, man. And are we going to sit back and watch it all unfold? And then when it's too late and we can't do nothing about it, that's when we'll start to protest? Or are we going to kind of open our eyes and see what's going on everywhere in the world? And I mean everywhere. Anywhere that there's been the mass immigration. Germany, England, the United States, Canada, you name it. Anywhere that you've seen mass immigration since COVID and stuff like that, you've seen the downfall of those societies, and there's no denying it. So Alberta, my fellow Albertans, man, are we going to sit back and take this shit, or are we going to stand up and do something? And I mean, when I say do something, and I mean do something about our neighbors and our friends and our family members that are like, elbows up, everybody, that they would just rather watch the destruction of our country and society just because they have this, Trump derangement syndrome, but here in Canada, it's because of the Pierre Poilievre. I mean, these fucking wackadoos, Daniel Smith, with the exception of the dude in Saskatchewan, those are really the only two leaders that we have in Canada right now. Daniel Smith, man, God bless her, keep her safe. She's our only hope. She's our only hope. That cockholster, Naheed Nenshi, like I said, he's cozying up to the teachers union to get some votes out of them. And, he's going to give Danielle Smith a run for her money come the next election. And God forbid that guy gets voted in as the premier of Alberta. Just blows my mind. He's super woke. We called him, when he was the mayor of Calgary, Spenchi, because all he did was waste fucking money on stupid shit. And now he's wants to be the premier of Alberta. So He wants to take his ability to fuck shit up on a grander scale. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for the news for you today. Have a fantastic week. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button below. And I've been getting messages from people on some story ideas that I'm following up on. I do appreciate all the emails and comments. You can go to my Facebook page and send me a DM or send me a comment. You can comment here on the YouTube thing. If you're a subscriber, I think that's how that works. Or you can go to beastbellymedia@gmail.com. Beast, B-E-A-S-T, belly, B-E-L-L-Y, media.com. I named that after my dog's puppy gut. His little soft pink puppy gut, the Beast Belly. Beast Belly Media. Anyway, send me a line. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks for your support. We shall see what the week has for us coming up. I will report on it next Sunday at 8 o'clock. Again, thanks for tuning in, guys. I do appreciate the support. And, drop me a line. Say hello. Anyway, see ya!